Alright guys, today we are going to do section 2.5, which is zeros of polynomial functions. So yesterday in class we had talked about how to find the possible rational roots. So just as a quick review, your possible rational roots: you take the factors of the constant term divided by the factors of the lead coefficient. Okay, so that was what we did after we did our factoring review yesterday. So, finding all the possible zeros. So finding, let's put steps. Steps to finding possible zeros. List all the possible roots. Okay. Step 2. Do trial and error by synthetic division. Step 3. Once you get a second degree equation, factor or use the quadratic formula. So what we're going to be able to do today is, if we had to, without a calculator, we could find all the roots, because realize that graphing calculators have just come into being. So when I was in school, many ancient years ago, we didn't have calculators, so we did have to go through these steps. Alright? Okay, so example 1 for the day. Find all the zeros. For each polynomial. Show all work. Okay, again, I understand that the calculator can do this in an instant. So number 1, f of x is equal to x cubed plus 8x squared plus 11x minus 20. So you could try to do the whole putting them into pairs, but if you notice, they're not going to have the same, which means this guy does not factor. Okay, so first, let's write down the factors of the constant. Okay, so the constant is negative 20. So what are some factors of 20? We have plus or minus 1, plus or minus 2, plus or minus 4, plus or minus 5, plus or minus 10, plus or minus 20. And the factors of the lead coefficient, change colors. Well, the lead coefficient has a 1, which is wonderful. Which means my possible roots really are my factors of 20. I don't have to do any fancy division. Okay, so possible roots would be plus or minus 1. And if you don't want to rewrite these, I'm okay if you would just go up here and say, you know what, I'm going to change that. Okay? Alright, so far so good. Now what we do is trial and error. Sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't. Okay, so trial and error, I am going to use synthetic division. So synthetic division, quick review. Write down your terms. So I have 1, 8, 11, negative 20. Okay? Bring down the 1. And now you pick wherever you want to start. I normally start with positive 1 and work my way through. So I go positive 1, negative 1, positive 2, negative 2, positive 4, negative 4. Okay? So the hope is you find one real quick that works. 1 times 1 is 1. 8 plus 1 is 9. Do it again. 1 times 9 is 9. That's 20. 1 times 20, woohoo! So we got it right off the bat. So boy are we lucky. That is a root. So far so good. So don't forget that root. That's what happens to people. Now I'm going to go ahead and continue and say, well, now what does this look like? So I started out with a cubed. Now I've done synthetic division. Essentially I factored something out. Now I'm down to x squared plus 9x plus 20. And now I can set that equal to 0, and I can try to see if it will now factor. If it does, great. If not, I've got to do the quadratic formula. So let's see. Last term is positive, so I need either a plus plus or minus minus. This guy says he wants a plus plus. All right. Things that multiply to give me 20, add to give me 9, 4, and 5. So now we're going to write our roots. Now do you agree that at this point, if you need to, you can separate these and get x plus 4 equals 0 and x plus 5 equals 0 and find that x equals negative 5 and x equals negative 4. Most of you guys can get that now from this level and not have to show me that. So now we're ready to give our answer. We're going to put it into a solution set bracket. And my answers, my roots are 1, negative 4, and negative 5. And we're finished. Now, it becomes a pain in the butt, obviously, when you don't get lucky. Alrighty? So, let's try another one. So this time I have f of x is equal to x cubed plus x squared minus 5x minus 2. And before I start this one, I want to ask you guys, how many factors would this have? Or how many zeros would it have? And remember, it's the power of the highest exponent that tells us this should have 3 roots. So I should be looking for 3 numbers. Alright, so factors of the coefficient, plus or minus 1 and plus or minus 2. Right, factors of my lead. That's going to be plus or minus 1. So again, my possible roots, nice, I don't have to do any work with this. Are just plus or minus 1, plus or minus 2. Well, the good news is at least I only got 4 that I have to check. So, we ready to try some synthetic division? So I have 1, 1, negative 5, negative 2. And I'm going to begin my path with, I'll start with positive 1. It worked for me last time, maybe it's going to work again. Bring him down. Alright. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. 1 times 2 is 3. Negative 5 plus 3 is negative 2. 1 times negative 2 is negative 2. Do you see right here I get a remainder? So that means, sorry Charlie, you weren't lucky this time. What is that commercial used to be? Sorry Charlie, only good taste in tuna gets to be Starkist. Have you guys ever seen that commercial? Or do you just think that at this point I'm a little crazy? Alright, try it again. So positive 1 didn't work, I'm going to try negative 1. Now you guys should actually be able to do synthetic fairly quickly, but again I'm going to try to take it a little bit slower until you can follow me. Negative 1 times 1, negative 1. Negative 1 and 1 is 0. Negative 1 times 0 is 0. Negative 5 and 0 is negative 5. Negative 1 times negative 5 is 5. And they get a 3. No good. So, do it all again. Alright, so 1, 1, negative 5, negative 2. Try a positive 2. Maybe he'll get lucky. And I'm going to make him pink. Sorry about that. Okay, 1. 2 times 1 is 2. 1 and 2 make 3. 2 times 3 is 6. Negative 5 and 6 is 1. 2 times 1 is 2. Ta-da! Woo! Alright, so I found what I needed. So I know that 2 is a root. Please do not forget him. Or if you want to, go ahead and put him in, you can go ahead and make your brace over here and put him just to start with so you don't lose him. Realize this is now going to drop a power. So we started with an x. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? There it is. We started with an x cubed. So now we get ourselves down to where we have x squared plus 3x plus 1 equal to 0. If we're lucky, it's going to factor. Oh, luck sure hasn't been with us this problem so far, has it? Alright, let's try. I need a positive, positive. Things that multiply to give me 1, add to give me 3. Nothing. This is no longer an option, so now I have to do the quadratic formula. Okay, you guys see why. Factoring was not a possibility, so now I have to come and do the quadratic formula. Alright, so it was negative b. I'm not going to sing to you guys. Plus or minus b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. If you're humming the Pop Goes the Weasel song right now, congratulations. Alright, look at your term here. So if you need to, a is 1, b is 3, c is 1. And now plug those in here and see what we can get. So negative of 3 plus or minus 3 squared minus 4 times 1 times 1 all over 2 times 1. So negative 3 plus or minus, let's see, 3 squared is 9 minus 4 over 2. I get negative 3 plus or minus the square root of 5 over 2. And that, my friends, are your other two roots. And I lost my set notation when I took my paper away. So 2 was a root. Now, I like to just keep them together instead of separating them. So I just like to write negative 3 plus or minus the square root of 5 over 2. Sometimes people like to actually separate them into 2, which is fine. I'm just kind of lazy, so I put them all in one. Alright, so far so good. So that one was a pain in the butt, I will admit it. Let's try another one. So this time I'm going to give you a to the 4th, and this is where we'll end this lesson. So let's go ahead and start. F of x is equal to x to the 4th. So how many roots will I have? I'll have 4 zeros. So I'll get 4 answers. Minus 6x squared minus 8x plus 24. So, step 1, list all your possible roots. Well, this is joyous. 24. Huh. So I want factors of 24. Plus or minus 1. Plus or minus 2. Plus or minus, yep, 3 goes into it. 4. Oh, good news, 5 doesn't. 6 does. Notice now I'm on the other side of this because 4 times 6 is 24. 3 does. 12 does. And 24 does. Okay? Factors of my lead coefficients. Ah, good news. He's plus or minus 1. And at this point, I am not going to write all these over again. Are we good? Alright, you ready to hop right into synthetic division? Let's see, I have 1. Oh, be careful. I go from x to the 4th to x squared. So what do I need here as a placeholder? Good, I need a 0. Then a negative 6. Be careful of his signs. The 8 would be a negative, and a 24. Alright, you ready? I'm going to start with positive 1, and I'm going to hope I get lucky. Here we go. Bring down 1. 1 times 1 is 1. 0 and 1 is 1. 1 times 1 is 1. Negative 6 and 1 is negative 5. 1 times negative 5 is negative 5. I get negative 13. And I can already tell that this is a big ol' yuck. So I get to do it all again. Woohoo! 1, 0, negative 6, negative 8, 24. Come on down, negative 1. Hope it works. Alright, 1. Negative 1. Negative 1. Negative 1 times negative 1 is 1. Negative 6 and 1 is negative 5. Negative 1 times 5 is 5. Negative 3. Negative 1 times negative 3 is 3. Uh-oh. Try it again. Alright, moving on to what? 2? 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. Negative 6 and 4 is negative 2. 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. Oh, I got a good feeling. That's negative 12. 2 times negative 12 is negative 24, and I finally get what I want. Woohoo! Now, I started with an x to the 4th, which means my newest synthetic takes me down to an x cubed. So I really have x cubed plus 2x squared minus 2x minus 12. And guess what we get to do? You get to do it all again. However, be careful, because do you notice that now my end constant has changed? So now I'm going to have different factors. Alright, so factors of 24. How about factors of 12? I just said it changed, and I tell you the same thing. Alright, so factors of 12. Plus or minus 1, plus or minus 2, plus or minus 3, plus or minus 4, plus or minus 6, plus or minus 12. And we do synthetic all over again. Alright. Let's do factors of the lead. Plus or minus 1. So the good news is this is all. Ready for synthetic all over again. 1, 2, negative 2, negative 12. And you hope again that either you synthetically divide super quick or you get super lucky. Okay, I'm going to tell you guys that you can try it. If I do 1, I get 1, 1, 3, 3, 1, and I get nothing. Negative 1 doesn't work either. So are you guys okay? In the essence of videotaping, I'm going to be kind of like they do on the cooking shows. I'm going to tell you that 2 works. So 2 times 1 is 2, 4. 2 times 4 is 8, 6. 2 times 6 is 12. Ta-da! Now I have this, which is now a second order. X squared plus 4x plus 6. And now I can try to factor or to do the quadratic. And that's where we'll pick up tomorrow morning. You guys have a great night.